This is one disadvantage of being in a static caravan. When you get those heavy downpours, it can get quite noisy. But I can think of something else that's even more annoying. The one thing I find even more annoying is a dripping tap. And there's a very good reason for that, especially when you're in a static caravan. This static caravan is all open plan. So if you look over my shoulder, you can see that this living room leads straight into that kitchen. And that's where the taps are dripping. So when you're watching TV, you've constantly got that noise in your ear. And it happens to be one of those things that's a really easy fix. You just have to follow a couple of steps, and within a few minutes you can have that dripping tap stopped for good. And the best thing about it is it only costs about 36p, because when you're trying to save as much money as possible, you don't want to be calling out a plumber. Let's come take a look. That's the tap I'm talking about. And unfortunately, it's one of them situations where you can stop that tap dripping, but you have to put a lot of pressure on it when you turn it off. Else it will just keep going like that day and night. And when you turn your taps off so tightly, you can also damage them at the same time. But in my situation, when I tighten that tap up to stop it dripping, then the wife can't open it. It's just too hard. So we'll quickly repair that dripping tap. The first thing you need to do is isolate the water. And in a caravan, you'll have a stop tap outside, so you can just go out there and turn the water supply off altogether, and that's you sorted. But if you look under your sink, sometimes the pipes have little taps on them that you can just turn, and that also cuts off the water supply to your taps. And there's a couple of different ones, so I'll just quickly show you where they are. So if I just shine the torch in here, you can see that this one has got a little black tap on it, but next to it, the other pipe has got a slot edge screw. So you just put your screwdriver in and turn it, and that will stop the water going to your taps. And this one, you just turn like that, and then that's the water cut off. But you may not be sure which one of them pipes leads to which tap. So my advice is turn them both off, and then you know that you're safe. And run your water as you turn it off, so you know it's definitely stopped. Some taps are different to others, but on these taps you need to just pop this top off. Just use a screwdriver and it should easily come off. And then underneath there is a screw, so we'll just take that away. And make sure you put your plug in the sink or something in case you drop a screw. That now comes off, which leaves you this bit, and this is the bit that we need to take out. So we can use a little wrench on it or a spanner. What I find works better is a ring spanner, because they don't let go. And then you need to open this the same way you'd open a normal bolt. But as you're doing it, you need to support this part of your tap, because as you press down, you could bend this whole thing and then create an even bigger problem under the sink. So if we get this on here, while holding that, we can just release that. They don't all open quite as easy, so you have to have a bit of patience. But on this tap, if you're really struggling, you can just cover your tap like that, just to protect it, and then put something else over the top that you can use as leverage. So when you force down on this part, that tap is not going to move. So now we'll take this part all the way out. And you're going to lose water as you're doing that, but don't worry about it, it's not a problem. Just let that run away. And then we can take this part out. And your problem is this. There's a rubber washer right at the end, and over time they get damaged. Not sure if you can see any damage to this seal, but this is what's causing your problem. So now we need to remove that. If you look on this as well, you'll notice that it's got a little O-ring right there. Check that to see if that's damaged while you've got this out. And on the other end, you'll see that there's a circlip which you can just pull off. And then this bit will all come out, and inside there is another O-ring. But 9 times out of 10, that will be a problem, and that is a really easy fix. All we need to do is open that screw at the end. So just take the thing completely out. Don't lose the screw, because they are quite tiny. And then you can take this seal out. And then you'll see if there's any damage to it as well, which will verify that that is the problem. This has got a little bit of wear to it, but we've got to pack a new ones. And as I said, these work out to around 36p each. And it's as simple as pop that in there, push it in, then refit that screw. And make sure you tighten it all the way down. It's going to push that rubber down around the edge, but it will stop at some point. That is now fixed. So all we need to do now is reassemble it, and it's worth just feeling around inside here as well, but be careful in case there's any sharp bits of metal where it's become damaged. It should be all smooth at the bottom, and if it is, then you're alright. So we can just take that, pop it back in there and tighten it up. Make sure it's nice and tight, but don't over tighten it. So that basically stops there. So that's good enough. Then we can pop this top back on. And put that screw back in. And these also don't need over tightening. And then we've just got that top part that just pops back on. And that's your tap fixed. So now we'll turn the water back on. So I'll turn this tap off. And this is not dripping. So we'll turn this one back on. And then we'll turn it back off. Without using barely any pressure. And that drip has gone. So that's a really easy fix if you happen to have a dripping tap in your house or your caravan. There's no need to get onto the phone and ring out a plumber and pay quite a bit more money for it than it'll cost you if you do this. But if you're not confident enough to do that, then it's probably best left to professionals. But if you follow those simple steps, as you've just seen, you won't have any problems whatsoever. And you can finally sit down and watch that TV in peace, because that dripping tap problem no longer exists. As always, in this static caravan, we're trying to save as much money as we possibly can, and this is one definite way that you can do that. And that pack of washers that we bought, as I said earlier, only work out to 36p each, and you get a pack of around 5 from Screwfix. So you've got a couple of spares as well. But while we was doing this, I changed both the washers in both taps, and in total it probably takes about 10 minutes. And if you're interested in seeing what else we're going to be doing inside and outside this caravan, then please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.